You're listening to the Curious About Cannabis podcast.
It seems like there's a pretty common phenomenon for a lot of people if they use cannabis chronically. After maybe a year or two, something kind of changes for a lot of people where it doesn't show up the same. It's not as fun. They might get like, wow, I never used to get paranoid or have an anxiety response to cannabis, but lately I am a lot, especially in a social situation, something like that. So generally, that's usually those cases that will happen where someone will say, I'm not enjoying this anymore in the same way. But again, so much of my kind of identity and friend group formed around this. We would get together and smoke a joint together, right? And bond and hang out. So now I don't want to be the one person who's not. And are they still going to be my friend? And am I going to be kind of missing out on something with them if I don't? And so I think that's very real for people, or feeling this pressure. Like I have a friend, so years ago, he's a musician, and he's like, I every time I smoke pot, it's awful. I've smoked maybe 20 times. It's been terrible every time. And I'm like, no matter what I do, if I take one hit or smoke a lot or whatever, I'm like, I don't gamble much, but I bet on the 21st time it's going to suck.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're probably based on your endogenous cannabinoid system, all of it. So it's just, but he felt pressure because he was in like an environment with people and the music that he was playing and engaged in, that it was just, cannabis was kind of around. And so he felt like an odd person out not doing it. So he felt stigma by not doing it. I don't know. So I think that's part of it where people feel this pressure. It's not like peer pressure, like you better smoke this or I'm not going to be your friend anymore. That's not how it goes. It's very subtle, and it's often the pressure we feel it kind of internally. I just tell people, if it's not for you and it doesn't play a role in your life, just be chill and be confident in that decision. And when it's offered to you, just be like, oh no, I'm good. No, thank you. And just be confident in it and don't make a big deal of it one way or another. And people are going to, if you're a good person and people want to be your friend, they're going to be your friend regardless. If they're not because you don't smoke cannabis,
that's a sign of
like whatever, move on from that relationship. But I don't know. I see that, and it does sadden me though when I've seen that with people, because you can tell they feel this internal kind of angst around it of like, I don't know what to do.